When the greatest generation is mentioned, reference is invariably to those who went through the Great Depression and participated in the Second World War and who emerged victorious, at great personal cost, against various enemies bent on bringing America down. It may not be generally known that, immediately after World War II, as many as 48,000 volunteers, both Jews and non-Jews, from 59 nations arrived in Israel to fight for its independence. About 90% of Israel's fledgling Air Force pilots were new arrivals, the often overlooked heroes of their time. The influence and virtues of those generations are fading into permanent silence, suggests political commentator Sean Patrick Calabria. With each passing, we not only lose a life, but also a visceral link to the sacrifices that forged the free and prosperous world we inherited. We likewise take one step closer to forgetting their valor altogether, drifting towards the complacency they would warn us of. The result will inevitably be an America perilously blind to history's hard-won lessons and too afraid or ill-prepared to confront the tyrants gathering anew. In many Western countries, the present cohort of military-age young people generally seems to display an ignorance of integrity, the indispensable value of freedom of speech, Judeo-Christian values, and patriotism. Instead, despite having the comfort of food, shelter, advanced technology, and no military obligations, they appear to be self-absorbed and resentful of how extremely hard they supposedly have it. Destructive rather than creative, many appear, at best, disinclined to contribute meaningfully to the common good of the societies that provide them with so much. Is it possible that we are infantilizing them, depriving them of the most important education of all, by no longer requiring a military draft, a Peace Corps, or at least mandatory civilian national service to enable them to participate in repairing the world and seeing how most people actually live? Taking full advantage of the freedoms an open society offers, achieved by the courage and sacrifice of generations past, they misuse democracy and human rights. They support misogyny, terrorism masquerading as human rights, and silencing those with whom they disagree rather than respectfully hearing them out, a courtesy they seem to assume should be accorded only to them. Heterosexual white males, women competing in sports, and Jewish fellow citizens, specifically, are among those who suffer public denigration. The desperate years of World War II forged a steely character and strong work ethic. U.S. Army Master Sergeant Roddy Edmonds of Tennessee, for instance, was captured by German soldiers during World War II and incarcerated with thousands of fellow prisoners of war in Stalag IX, a camp near Ziegenhain, Germany. As the highest-ranking POW at the camp, when the German camp commander ordered him to arrange that all Jewish POWs be assembled the following morning for transportation to concentration camps, Edmonds secretly arranged for all the inmates of the camp to assemble, not only the Jews among them. The next day, when the German officer saw the large gathering, he said to Edmonds, "They cannot all be Jews." Edwards replied simply, "We are all Jews. If you shoot me, you will have to shoot all of us, and after the war you will be tried for war crimes." The officer left. Many years later, in 2015, Edmonds, among many other heroes, was posthumously recognized by the State of Israel as righteous among the nations. Almost every generation in history has a group of courageous men and women, of all ages, who deserve their place among the greatest and bravest of their time. The present cadre of Israeli warriors is no exception. The warrior spirit of early Israelites was evident as far back as 3,000 years ago. King David and his band of warriors formed their resolve in times of great hardship while gathered as outlaws in the caves of Adullam in Judea. Under David's leadership, they became the mighty, the undefeated, preeminently heroic men of their age. These great fighters, exemplifying the continuing spirit of Zion, endure as role models to the soldiers of Israel today. It is these who have the world's attention at present. Israel Defense Forces, IDF, Battalion Commander Lieutenant Colonel Almag Rodam recalled of his soldiers' actions in Gaza. "We're in a grueling, challenging war. We fight shoulder to shoulder with our armored corps brethren and embrace them. Throughout this war, their actions have saved dozens of soldiers' lives. My heart goes out to the families of the fallen. We will embrace them and push forward to complete the mission. I fight side by side with my troops. They possess remarkable mental and personal fortitude." They endure harsh experiences, but I see a glimmer in their eyes, their dedication, how they attack and never stop. Not a single soldier has said, "I don't want to continue." They're jihadist enemies, relieved by vast international donations from having to concentrate on actually building their societies. Were therefore free for years to focus on preparing for war. Instead of building great institutions and businesses, they used these financial windfalls to build a city under a city. 350 to 450 miles of tunnels used to protect the terrorists, not the Gazan civilians, and to store weapons and plan attacks. The Israelis were forced to engage enemies in close combat in dark tunnels full of deadly traps. The men and women of the IDF have proven to be the greatest generation of this era. They are worthy successors to King David and his mighty men. They are today's Lions of Israel. According to commentator Avi Abelo, the TikTok generation in Israel, so often dismissed as distracted or disconnected, has proven itself to be made of the strongest steel. These young men and women, raised in the age of social media and short attention spans, are showing the world what true clarity and courage look like. They're not confused by decades of failed appeasement or the lies of global media narratives. They know why we are fighting. They have seen with their own eyes the evil we are fighting against. They are proving to be the true Lions of Zion, standing with a strength and moral clarity that cuts through the noise. They are the living, breathing spirit of Zion. Journalist Jonathan Tobin notes that these men and women, many of them reservists who in everyday life work at everyday jobs, went on to defeat their Iranian, Hezbollah, and Hamas foes, and did so while still preserving Israel's standards and humanity. They are a credit to their people and to the Judeo-Christian ethos underpinning Western civilization itself. This essay is dedicated to those who have fought and sacrificed much, resisting tyranny in the wars and conflicts of their times, and, specifically, those who continue to protect their nations and traditional values against the dark forces again confronting Israel and the West. I also dedicate this essay to the memory of my father, who, though not Jewish, fortunately managed to escape the German occupation in France, and to my mother and her family, consigned to the basement of their lovely home when it was commandeered as the headquarters of the occupying German forces on Norway's west coast. I would be remiss if I did not mention the Wehrmacht officer, Gunther Hanfland, who extended kindness to my mother, her family, and others, and who exhibited courage and integrity in returning to the village after the war to seek amends.